Hi, are you worried about putting weight on over the holidays? I know that I am. I've come up with 10 tips on how I plan on maintaining my weight loss and not gaining more weight over the holidays because I've worked so hard since July to lose 20 pounds that I don't want to throw all of my hard work away. If you're new here, hi, I'm Cathy. I'm 55 years old. And in July, I began a healthy eating plan, working one-on-one with a dietitian, and I have lost 20 pounds so far to date. Basically, I'm just eating more healthy. I'm not dieting. I'm not counting points or calories. I'm using a balanced plate approach to weight loss, and it is working. And for the first time in my life, I'm not stressed and thinking about what am I going to eat next all of the time. So I will link that playlist here and you can go catch up if you haven't seen those videos. But in this video, I just want to talk about stress eating and how that can affect our weight over the holidays. So my old mentality would have been 2 weeks, let's eat everything in sight. But now that I've lost my 20 pounds and I know how easy it can be for me to put weight on, I do not want to fall into that old mentality. So I still plan on doing the best that I can, but I'm not going to limit myself or not enjoy the holidays and not indulge once in a while. But I'm learning that I can indulge maybe 20% of the time, but 80% of the time I have to eat healthy. So I have come up with 10 tips to help you avoid gaining weight over the holidays or at least maintaining your loss. Life can be stressful enough, but then add the holidays on top of that. And for a lot of people, the holidays are not a happy time. They can be a very stressful time. You know, it could be due to finances, maybe being away from family. For some people, it could be having to visit family because every family has that one person. The holidays are a stressful time, and not everybody's holiday is like a Hallmark movie. Keeping everybody happy, being around family members that can stress you out, and the temptation of all the food and sugary treats around us can be very stressful. You might be missing a family member that is no longer with you, or perhaps you are dealing with a sick family member and this may be their last Christmas. There are tons of reasons why the holidays can be a trigger and make emotional eaters like me want to just binge all throughout the holidays. So I'm going to do my best this year to stay on plan, but I'm still going to allow myself to indulge myself once in a while because the holidays are a special time. Maybe we only see people from afar once a year, so I'm not going to sit at home and worry about the scale. I'm just going to do my best and I'll deal with it later, but I'm not going to, full out forget about all the hard work that has led up to here. So if I can make it through the next 2 weeks without gaining a pound and just maintaining my weight, I will be happy. And if I lose a pound, that'll be great too. But so far, December has been a little difficult for me. I weigh myself every day and I am maintaining. So I'm going to share some tips that are helping me to remind myself to stay on track. So the first tip that I think is really important is don't deprive yourself. If you are like me and you are craving like a festive log, I feel it is best to go and get whatever it is you're craving after 24 hours. So I have this little trick. I'll use this example. Vachon comes out with a festive log every December, and it has been my tradition over the years to buy this because I am a sugar addict and I love all the icing on the two ends of the cake. That I look for that every December. So this year I was not going to have it, and I could see in the flyers for the grocery stores that it was in stock. And once something gets in my mind, it is just like on a repeat. Like I just think about it and think about it. So I told myself if I could go for 24 hours, and if at 24 hours I still wanted the festive log, I know from personal experience it's best that I just go and get the festive log, have my piece, and then I'm over the craving. So I actually managed to go 3 days without getting the festive log, which, was pretty good for me. I did break down, I went and I had it, and then as I was eating it, I just made myself very mindful of how it was making me feel. So I was sitting down at the dining room table having my festive log, and I didn't have any distractions. I just really wanted to be mindful and concentrate on how did it taste? How does my body react to it? And after having been off sugar for about 2 to 3 months, and by sugar I mean like processed sugar, I still get sugar through fruit. I'm not giving fruit up. But I noticed that it really didn't taste as good as I thought it was going to taste. And that evening I really paid the price because all of my achy joints came back. So that is the effect that I am beginning to realize that sugar has on my body. If I would have deprived myself having the festive log, I can tell you from my past experience as a lifelong dieter that I would have ate everything in the house and then I would have ate the festive log. So it is my experience that if I am still thinking about something, after the 24 hours, it's better just to have it or have a little bit of it. And it just seems to satisfy me and then I'm over it. So maybe something like that would be beneficial to you. And it's okay to have treats, but just in moderation. Like in the past, maybe I would have sat down and had 4 sugar cookies, but now I just have 1. And it seems to be, working because I am very mindful of what I'm doing. I don't allow myself to eat while I'm watching TV, on my phone. I just have to be focused on the food. And just being mindful, I feel, has really helped me connect with this new way of eating. Because in the past, I would be eating candies, just shoving them in my mouth before I'm even finished with the one in my mouth while I was watching TV. So I no longer allow myself to eat like that. I have to be very focused on what I'm doing. Another tip that I have is to eat more protein. So protein helps us to feel satisfied. It's really good to have protein in the early part of the day. So I will have Greek yogurt and my blueberries and raspberries for breakfast. I like Greek yogurt because it is high in protein. And I'm not a really big breakfast person. I could really wait until 11 or 12 to eat. But I will have the Greek yogurt and I have the Oikos 2% vanilla yogurt. I don't like the plain Greek yogurt. I've tried it, adding cinnamon, syrup, different, additives, vanilla. I just don't like it. So for me, I have to have the 2% vanilla yogurt. And I mean, that's fine because it is high in protein and I'm having it with fruits that are very healthy and low in sugar. Blueberries are full of antioxidants. Raspberries are low on the glycemic index. So I'm not going to get that sugar spike. Sometimes in the evening, I'm not that hungry, so I'll just make a little charcuterie board for myself and I'll have an apple and then I'll have 1 cheese stick and about 10 to 15 plain almonds. And that combination really does help to satisfy any craving that I have, helps to fill me up and keeps me happy. And just either I will have sometimes just a cheese stick with the almonds, but lately I've been kind of making that my supper because we like to have our large meal at lunch and this is what's working for me. But if you like to have 3 meals a day or have your main meal in the evening, maybe you could have the charcuterie type board thing like I'm making at lunchtime. At least if you know you're invited out for dinner, maybe just have lighter meals throughout the day. And it doesn't have to be a full meal, like meat and potatoes. It can be something as simple as a fruit and some cheese and some nuts because nuts have healthy fats that are good for our body. If you know you're going out, maybe have chicken or a salad, load up on that before you go out. Or if you like to have coffee in the morning, maybe add some protein powder to that. Any way you can get in added protein, I find that really helps because that is something that I was really lacking in the past. And once I sat down with a dietitian and told her what I was eating, that was one of the first things that she said. She said, you are not getting enough protein. And by trying to have protein throughout the day, it really does help. Another important tip is to plan ahead. We've all heard the saying, fail to plan, plan to fail. It is so true. And I still have not gotten really very good at planning out my meals for the week. But I do find if I do sit down and plan out my meals for a day, that does help me to focus and stay on plan, eating healthy. if you can like meal prep or plan ahead, if you know you're going out like on Christmas Day, maybe load up on your protein early in the day, get a little exercise in, fill up on water. All those little tips and tricks will help you. I like to drink a lot of water throughout the day. I drink between 2 and 3 liters of water. That's normal for me. I like it, and I like to drink plain water. I know some people don't like the taste of water, so maybe you could put a jug of water in your fridge and maybe add some fruit to it, like some lemons or limes, just something to give it a little bit of flavor. Go for a walk around the block. I have to tell you this, I hate to exercise, and I have not exercised in a long time. So I was having a really bad day last week, and it was around 5 o'clock at night. It was already dark out here, and normally I would just go have my shower, get in my pajamas, and go watch TV. But I thought, no, I'm gonna force myself to go for a walk around the block. And believe me, it took everything I had in me to get dressed and go out for a walk. But it was a beautiful night. It wasn't too cold. And I'm so glad that I did, because whenever I got home, I wasn't feeling anxious or stressed or sad. So I'm going to try and incorporate that over the holidays. I'm not going to say, Cathy, you have to work out every day. I'm just going to remember the good feeling that I had and how proud I was of myself whenever I just made myself go out and go for a walk around the block. I was gone for about 15-20 minutes, and it just really changed my mood. And that's what exercise can do for us. And I know the hardest part about exercise is just getting started. Trust me, I know. I used to walk every day, and then I've just gotten away from it. And I want to walk. It's easy, it's free. But I live where it gets really cold, and right now it's really icy because we had a lot of rain yesterday, and now it's cold, so it's very dangerous out. But you know, there's free walking videos on YouTube. I have a treadmill, I can go walk on that. But the hardest part is always just getting started. Another thing you can do is just have some veggies or salad before. Something that can just help fill you up. My next tip is to limit or avoid alcohol. There are tons of hidden calories in alcohol and fancy coffees. Maybe just limit yourself to 1 drink per day. Drinking alcohol really helps to make a person feel free. So I feel whenever you're, a little tipsy, you may make really bad choices when it comes to eating. So if you like alcohol, maybe just limit yourself to 1 a day. The next tip I just touched on, go for a walk around the block every day. You don't have to break any speed records. Just get outside, breathe in the fresh air. You might run into some neighbors, chit chat, say hello. And just that little interaction can really lift your spirits and lift your mood. The next tip, it's simple, but it can be very difficult to do. And that's avoiding people that stress you out. Women seem to have the need to please. We feel like we have to take care of everybody and put our own needs or desires on the back burner. I am so guilty of that. I'm really trying hard and doing my best to make myself a priority in my life, because it's like when you get on an airplane and the pilot says, put your oxygen mask on first because you can't help anybody else if you're unconscious. It's kind of the same thing. So, I'm 55 years old, and so far, touch wood, I've been relatively healthy. And I'm really realizing now as I'm getting older that, my body has been very good to me so far. But one of these days, something could go wrong. So I have to take care of my body. Think of your body as a car. If you had a 55-year-old car, you probably would not be driving her. She would be in a museum or at the junkyard. So just think of your body as a car. You give it a good gas, you wash it, make it nice and shiny and sparkly. Do the same for your body. Really honor your body. And another really important thing for women, maybe this goes for men too, I really feel sometimes we get guilted into doing things. We really don't want to do something or go somewhere, and people will twist our arm. But you need to hear this. It's okay to say no. And no is a complete sentence. You don't have to make up a big story, fabricate something just so you can get out of doing something. Just say no. You don't have to be rude, but if the person says, well, why can't you? Just say, I said no. You don't owe the person an explanation. The only person you are responsible for is yourself. So that's a really huge lesson I think a lot of emotional eaters struggle with. And I'm really diving deep into my emotions. I really am trying to get to the root of why I am triggered emotionally to eat. And I'm going to do a separate video on that. I just wanted to leave you with that thought that just remember, no means no. It's okay. We don't owe anybody anything. Stay away from somebody if they cause you stress. You know, if you have to be around somebody, sit at the other end of the table. You can be polite, nod, say hello. You know, just try to avoid them if you have to be in the same room. Don't bring temptation into the house. If you know that candy is a weakness for you, just don't buy it. Don't bring it into the house, because I know for myself, if it is in the house, it is calling from the cupboards. It's saying, Cathy, I'm here, let's party. So I really have not brought any candy into the house this year, which really is a miracle because I'm such a sugar addict and candy is my thing. If you have to have treats around, maybe just ask your family members just to hide them if they can. I remember growing up, my mother was a huge baker and we knew all of her hiding spots throughout the house. There was 5 of us, so she would bake when we were at school for the holidays, and we'd come home and we'd want something, but she said, oh, they're all frozen, put away. So we would just go in the freezer and eat her sugar cookies frozen, or sometimes she would hide them in a Tupperware container, like in the dryer. It was hilarious. So yeah, just ask somebody if they don't mind hiding their treats, and out of sight, out of mind. I know that really works for me. Another helpful tip is after you have eaten your meal, brush your teeth and use some mouthwash. I don't know about you, but whenever I use mouthwash, that just kills everything, all cravings, and you know, I'm usually good to go. So if you have to brush your teeth after every meal and use mouthwash, like if you get a craving, just try it. Go rinse your mouth with mouthwash and see if the craving disappears. A lot of the times the holidays are really centered around food, because when we come together as a community or a family, it's nice to have food to celebrate an occasion with. But what about changing the focus? Instead of making a get together about food, what about having game night and just playing games? You know, you could make some high protein appetizers. At least you are controlling what is in your house and the treats that you are going to offer people. Just do like a Google search for high protein snacks or high protein hors d'oeuvres or treats, and just try changing the focus off of the food. Even if you're playing games, you're going to be preoccupied, so maybe you won't think about the food that's sitting around. You could also make a new tradition and go skating or go snowshoeing or tobogganing, or if you live somewhere warm, go to the beach. Just get out of the house, away from food, away from temptation, and just get outside if you can and enjoy the beautiful time that you have together with your family and friends. And the next tip, and this is one that I really struggle with, is sleep. It is so easy to get burnt out around the holidays and get tired because we have a million things on top of our million things we already have to do. And we're stressed about getting the food, preparing the food, like making sure everything is just perfect. Like I said before, life is not a Hallmark movie. It doesn't have to be like that. So don't set such high expectations on yourself. Try and get to bed the same time every night. You know, try and stick to a routine. Try and get up around the same time in the morning. Maybe read a book before you go to bed. I know for me, I can be falling asleep on the couch the minute I get into bed. I'm wide awake and I can just lay there for 3 hours. You know, 10 million things going through my mind. So what I need to get back to doing is reading before I go to sleep. And I like reading like a book, not anything on an iPad, because I just like the feel of a book. And I feel that that makes me sleepy more than if I was reading it on an iPad, because you also have, you know, the brightness from the iPad. So I really just like having the feel of a book, and it just makes a connection in my brain and makes me, you know, tired and want to go to sleep. Maybe try meditating. I used to meditate and I would sleep so good at night. I really need to get back at that, because sleep lately it's hard to get a good 8 hours of sleep in a row. I don't remember the last time I've had a good night's sleep. So, if you need to take a nap in the afternoon, take a nap. But most importantly, enjoy the holidays. It's a special time of the year, and I really hope that you have a lovely holiday season. My wish for you this holiday season is good health, love, and happiness. Enjoy the holidays, and I will see you soon. Bye.